So I've been waiting for like the right time to talk about this. Of course, with anything, there's no such thing as like the right time. So I'm just gonna do it now. I want to talk about my diagnosis. So I finally went to see a counselor. I need to go back, but my hours have been cut by a whole day. So every dollar counts right now. But once things start coming back and I get my day back, I'm definitely going back to see my counselor. And I have a counselor. Come on. So I need him to actually explain every like scientific detail of what it means of the diagnosis that I have. So I'm like so awkward right now. Anyway, so I finally went to see a counselor, and for those of you that don't know, I'm going to explain why. I've always had these feelings of panic and pressure my whole life, as long as I can remember. And for some reason, I just felt off compared to everyone else around me and dumb. I know, oh, you don't say that, people get butt hurt. Like, that's just the facts. Anyway, yeah, so I've always just felt off compared to everyone around me, kids, teenagers, adults. So for years, I've wondered why doing things always made me feel uncomfortable. I don't know if it's like a weird fear of not knowing or the fear of fucking everything up or something horribly going wrong. Maybe it's all of the above. I don't know. And I would talk to people about it and they're like, oh, you probably have anxiety. And I'm like, okay. And then it got to the point to where at the time I didn't know they were panic attacks. And it would happen all the time, kind of just randomly, like, during like interviews or just even at work, even though I already got the job and I've been there for a while now, I would still, like, while I'm in the bathroom, I would have to like calm myself down because my brain is just going 100 miles per hour and my heart like doesn't want to stop and my throat was getting tight and I just panic, right? So I finally spoke to Mom about it. And again, for those of you that don't know, my aunt is my mom. She had custody of me when I was little because my biological mom was not meant to be a mother. So let's just put it that way. So I spoke to her about it and she was like, oh, it sounds like you have anxiety. We all have it. It runs in the family. And I'm like, that's great. Cool beans. So I guess just knowing that, it kind of made things better. But at the same time, if you don't go to a doctor, no one believes you. They kind of just think that it's an excuse. I also have like social anxiety, which for those of you that know me, you don't know me as well as you think you do. And it's kind of fucked up saying that, but it's the truth. I don't like people. I don't really get along with like 80% of the people I bump into, but I'm kind, I'm courteous, I'm polite. That's the proper adult thing to do. Can't just walk around looking at people scowling like, get the fuck away from me. Even though people do that, but I still think it's like, it's unnecessary, even though on the inside I'm like, please don't talk to me. Please leave me alone. Please go away. Just let me be alone. Thanks. Whoa, that is a big ass web. Holy shit. Ew. Anyway. So, yeah, it took like 2 hours. Because I spoke to my official like counselor now, and then he had like a second person come in, kind of second diagnose to make sure, get a second opinion and make sure I'm not kind of lying, because people do that. And so it was 2 hours worth of talking. And Felicia, we are not going in there. What are you doing? what was I saying? Right. So, and when I'm like feeling irritable and uncomfortable and uneasy, that's when I have the attitude, and it kind of is just random moments. Like, unfortunately, people catch me when I don't feel like talking, and I'm just like, why are you talking to me? Like, don't thing. And I've been trying to like calm that down, because they're just asking questions, or people are just talking to me, and I'm just like, you know. Anyway, he asked a bunch of like really personal questions about like what I know about like family diagnosis and stuff like that. Not gonna say, because that's their business, it's personal. However, since I caught one of the biggest panic attacks I've caught in years, because I used to catch them a lot, it was at work, and it literally hit me. I guess because it was also very stressful. Like, the family was going through some turmoil at the moment, and like emotions were extremely high, and like work was hard because like they were cutting people off and cutting hours, and like money was getting really tight. On top of like the everyday anxiety that I have. Like, I have small panic attacks on a daily basis. Like, it takes a lot for me just to get out my house. But I've been kind of learning how to cope with that myself. Been learning how to bring myself down to get out of the house, even if it's out here. And this is one of the things I love the most, is to be out here. It still takes a lot for me to get out of the house. So the minute I feel it, I have to leave, which I did this morning. A lot of the times it's not planned. It's all based off of my feelings, and I need to like get it out of my system. So, yeah, I have like small ones every day. A lot of it is when I drive, I guess, because people are just lunatics when it comes to driving. They really just don't care that they're maneuvering a giant fucking machine that can kill everyone. Ooh, that sounded like a big bitch. Ooh. Anyway, so, you know, I told them, like, I have small anxieties. There are a lot of things that it's hard for me to do on a normal basis. That's a normal thing for adults to do, like talk on the phone or FaceTime, you know, keeping in contact with people. And I thought that if getting a job that required talking on the phone a lot, because I work in framing now, like custom framing in Hobby Lobby, you know, we have to pick up the phone and constantly call customers all the time, and we have to speak to customers to make their orders. So I thought this would help with like social anxiety, and like would help me get used to picking up the phone, making doctor's appointments, picking up the phone, talking to people, you know, the mechanics or fucking, you know, anything. It doesn't. You know, they say, you know, if you're scared of it, do it, conquer your fear. I tried, and I'm still trying, because I love my job. Like, I love custom framing, but it doesn't help at all. I'm still constantly having to repeat 5 to 6 to 7 times what I'm gonna say. If the you know, even though it's the same fucking thing, if I don't repeat it, I'll forget what I would literally forget. Even though I say it 10 times out of the day, I will forget what I need to say to the customer when their order is done. I even repeat our phone number on a daily basis. Ask me if I know my store's number. I don't. And I repeat it 10 plus times a day, because when we leave a message, we have to, you know, leave the phone number there. So, you know, these things may come a shock to a lot of people. So yeah, it's just a lot of little things that make my body feel like they're vibrating all the time, and my heart is constantly panicking, and I'm always in a state of like nervousness and panic and worry, and it's exhausting. I'm gonna be honest, like, it's truly exhausting. And so once I caught this panic attack right at work, it was after I realized that I can't get like stoned anymore. I can't take gummies, and I can't get like really high, because my brain, which is weird because one time, me, a family member, and a friend of mine, I think we smoked like 4 rolls, and I was fine. Like, I smoked and we were smoking and it was fine. But the minute I took a hit from like a bong or a pipe, I couldn't handle it. Like, it was just the first time that I'd gotten so high, I don't remember how I got home. And I remember I thought I was throwing up throughout the night, but I didn't see anything in the toilet. So I don't know. And then the next day I was still high, and I had a fucking doctor's appointment for my vision, and I was in complete panic. Like, it was just, I didn't like it. And so, you know, and then I tried a gummy, and that shit killed me. I did not like the way it made me feel. I thought my body was falling apart. And I understand, like, there are people who love that trippy feeling. You know, people love that outer body experience. I feel like I don't need that, because I can do that with meditating. And I know that sounds insane, but with meditating and my dreaming alone, I get to have that outer body experience, you know. So it was making me question if I was alive or not. I don't know if I was dead or if I was a spirit. Like, I was just, and then it bled into the very next day. Those 2 days, I don't remember my life. So I don't like it. And so because of this, my counselor was like, because of your biological mother's history, you might not want to do that again, because you might have a bad trip and then never come back from it. And I'm like, that's terrifying. So, you know, that alone can ruin my whole life. So, anyway, so yeah, you know, he asked me if I ever self-harm, and spoke about that and stuff. He asked me if I was ever, like, violent with humans or animals, and I'm like, no, I love animals. So then I got into the part of why I feel stupid compared to everyone around me. It's because I don't learn as fast as everyone else. It takes me a minute. So when something comes naturally, I'm like overly excited. When I can learn something and it's like just naturally going and I'm learning pretty quick, that is like a pure overjoy for me. Because it normally, I'm a little slow. And on top of the fact that I'm dyslexic. And I wasn't sure if that was the proper term for years. I've always had problems with spelling, grammar, and pronunciation, and reading, and stuff like that. So I told him about it, and he asked me, he was like, do you see your letters backwards? And I was like, oh my God, yeah, I do actually. Even when I write it, when I'm writing, it's like my hand is going too fast, or my brain can't catch up. Something's happening to where I end up writing the letters backwards, and I write them backwards all the time. And I'm like, I gotta stop and, you know, slow down. But I also read the letters backwards. I'm pronouncing it backwards. And I'm like, what the fuck? And like, I know I'm pronouncing it backwards, but like my mouth keeps doing it that way. Or I will add a letter that's not there, like an L or an R or an A or a T, and I'm trying to pronounce the word, and I see that letter is not there, but for some reason my brain keeps making me pronounce it that way. So reading has been such a fucking challenge for me my entire fucking life, and I've hated it, because all those times in school where they make you read out loud, I was always getting in trouble, because I was like, no. And the times where they're like, we're not moving on until you read, bro, that shit would piss me off. And I would get so frustrated, because when I can't pronounce a word, it's like maybe once in a while there'll be someone who would read the sentence for me, and they're doing it because they understand. Damn. they understand that I'm struggling. But then there's those kids, which are 90% of the time, they'll fucking pronounce the word with an attitude. And they'll be like, it's Felicity or whatever. And I'm like, and they're like, come on, continue. And that's embarrassing. Like, it's just really, really embarrassing to go through that. And he's like, I don't understand how they're not catching on. I'm like, I don't know. Especially when it came to assignments, they were like, your story is amazing. Creativity is there, but your spelling and your handwriting is atrocious. Like, why is your handwriting so bad and your spelling is so bad? And I'm like, I don't know, you tell me. I don't know. And goddamn, hold up. Sorry. This spot got like a lot of hills to walk up to. Goddamn. Any whore. When it came to like spelling tests, studying for that shit, I hated it. I hated it because it'd be like 20 fucking words. I'm like, and it would literally give me a headache trying to memorize this shit. And it just sucked. And he's like, well, you should have been diagnosed early on dyslexic. Because that sounds like that's exactly what it is. And I'm sorry you had to go through that. So, you know, on top of feeling stupid, I also have anxiety. So, his diagnosis is I have general anxiety disorder. Now, I want to go back to get deeper into what's going on. I want to make sure that that is the only thing that's going on. And I guess dyslexic. Not like I'm unofficially, officially diagnosed. Because that's what my counselor said I should have been. So, you know, going through life with that alone, I can't imagine with like hardcore depression. And what's interesting is he was like, do you get depressed when it's that time of the month? And I'm like, yeah, that's weird. Like, it hits hard. Like, I don't want to be alive when I get my period. And it's so, like, for 3 days out of that week, I'm like in hell, like mentally. So, you know, it's torture. But anyway, you know, I just wanted to do this because this panic attack, ever since I got the panic attack, after that, I can feel like this panic attack made me feel like I was on drugs. Like I thought I was tripping acid and I thought I was gonna die. Like it was really bad. So, with that, since then, I can feel that panic attack trying to happen again. And then when I started my new job, you know, I started in a very hectic time, you know, and I had to be on register, which I loathe. I loathe being on the fucking register. Anyone who knows. So, you know, I just took the chance because it's Hobby Lobby and it's an art store. And I've been dying to go and work in an art place for a long time. So, ew, dead bug on me. So anyway, kept feeling these panic attacks, just kind of small little ones. I started to disassociate to the point to where I wasn't sure if I was at work or if I was asleep. Like I was starting to lose my sense of reality within these panic attacks. And I would be at the register or working on the floor and I can feel all my senses just kind of like glitching and going awry. And I'm like, what is happening? And so now, once they said that I was going into framing, I was kind of relieved because I didn't have to use the register anymore. But I was also panicking because it's a serious job. Like, you are dealing with people's shit and people's artworks and people's photos. And I've already fucked up twice. And I am trying so hard to stay focused that I'm losing focus. And so once I started questioning my sense of reality of just being awake, that's when I was like, no, I need to see a counselor. And so I did. And I got my diagnosis, which made me feel a lot better. But now I'm like feeling like shit again because unfortunately we lost a day. So instead of 4 days a week, I'm 3 days a week. And it was supposed to be every 2 weeks. But on top of that, like I have like very restless sleep. Like my whole life, my sleep has always been bad as well. He's also like, that's anxiety. You need to try to get that out of your system before you go to sleep. Do something that's gonna help the body relax. He actually recommended meditation because I'm afraid of taking medication because addiction also runs in the family. There's been a couple of addicts in the family, including my biological mother. So I'm like, not gonna lie, I'm terrified of going on prescription. But all in all, I can go on forever about what's going on with me. If you want to know more, maybe I'll do a live. That way people can ask me questions if they're even fucking interested at all, you know? So, officially diagnosed, half undiagnosed. I am officially dyslexic and general anxiety disorder. So, yeah, cool beans.